MBA rankings are quite a delicate topic. In this video, I will talk about MBA rankings. I will give you some insights on how they actually work and why you should always take them with a grain of salt. But let's start off by taking a look at the 5 most prominent MBA rankings out there and their underlying methodology, because every MBA ranking has its own unique approach, giving more or less weight to different metrics. Probably the most important MBA ranking, at least for US schools, is US News. It's specifically for the US market and covers American business schools only. 25% is peer assessment and comes from asking other business schools on their opinion which schools the better schools are. And with that, US News is the only ranking to include a measure of the opinions of business school leaders as a part of their methodology. 15% is recruiter assessment and checks for companies from which schools they hire from. 35% is placement success, consisting of employment rate and compensation, meaning that 50% is from a recruiter's perspective. And then there is student selectivity with 25%, consisting of GMAT, GPA, and to a smaller extent acceptance rate. The Financial Times emphasizes on salary increase, with 63% focusing on everything career related, 19% diversity and global perspective, and a residual 18% is for faculty and corporate social responsibility. By that logic, business schools would favor candidates from low-wage countries or candidates who are currently on a low salary but have such a strong profile that they know their salary post-MBA will increase significantly. The Financial Times surveys alumni 3 years after graduation and requires that a minimum 20% of alumni respond to the survey for schools to be included. Alumni are asked about their salaries, career progression, and how highly they rate their alma mater. The Economist includes over 20 separate data indicators that fall into 9 of the weighting categories. I'm not going to mention every single indicator, but the category with the most weight is employment outcomes at 23%. The other key driver category for The Economist is compensation at 20%, which includes post-MBA salary and salary change from pre-MBA to post-MBA. In order to be eligible for the rankings, schools must complete questionnaires for at least 2 consecutive years before being ranked. Then there is the Forbes ranking, whose methodology is quite special. It's based solely on the return on investment achieved by alumni 5 years following graduation, and therefore it is basically answering the question, is a full-time MBA worth it? Bloomberg focuses on compensation with approximately 39%, approximately 28% is networking, being the network built by classmates, student interactions with alumni, successes of the career services office, etc. Then there is 23% learning, being quality, depth, and range of instruction, and approximately 11% entrepreneurship as a central factor to their overall training, whether they want to start their own businesses or work for a big bank. So these are the 5 most prominent MBA rankings. And then there's the Poets and Quants MBA ranking, in which each ranking is separately weighted to account for their view of the soundness of the methodology and the credibility of the list. Whew. A lot of rankings, right? You must find yourself asking which ones can be trusted and why should you take them with a grain of salt. Some experts say that a lot of the MBA rankings suffer from sample size problems, making the data meaningless. Also, when you browse through all the different rankings, you will notice that rankings vary widely. Consider MIT. In all of the mentioned rankings but one, MIT is ranked among the top 7. Only The Economist ranks MIT at 19. Does it make it a bad school then? If somebody takes a look at The Economist ranking only and fails to consider the other rankings, he would assume that it's not a top school, which is certainly not true. Another good example is Tuck, which was ranked at 2 in the Bloomberg ranking in 2019 compared to rank 19 in the previous year. What an impressive jump! Think of rankings as pictures. They are a snapshot in time. There are always movements, of course, but what really matters is consistency. Great schools are always in a certain corridor or range. If a school is 1 year on rank 15, then on rank 11 the next year, then rank 19 the following year, consider this school a solid top 20 school. But if a school jumps from 40 to 20 in 1 year and the next year to rank 50, this should make you suspicious. The fact that publishers of rankings adjust the metrics every once in a while also makes the ranking itself difficult to compare. Landing on the rankings is very important for a school's marketing. In order to be eligible for a place on the rankings, schools need AACSB or the EQUIS accreditation. But rumor has it that some schools don't have either, yet they land a spot in the ranking. A lot of the experts prefer the US News ranking because the outcomes are raw. You're getting the real data, no data that's put into a black box, manipulated and then spit out for public consumption, which is apparently what the Financial Times does. I'm not gonna give you names, but in recent years, some business schools have knowingly misreported data to make their program look better, which raises the question, how far can you trust the MBA rankings? As I said, it's a black box, and most schools don't get caught. If you do some Google research, you will find the name of the schools which have previously manipulated data. Because the Financial Times dedicates 59% of its ranking weight to its alumni survey, more than any other metric by the way, you can be sure that alumni will exaggerate quite a bit when they answer the surveys. It's also worth noting that not every school participates in each ranking, so if your desired school is not on the list, this may be because the school was not considered for this ranking. It may be a relatively good school, but it was just not included in the creation of the ranking. After all, rankings are a great starting point to find out what schools are highly ranked. However, they are only based on statistics. They lure you into believing that the numbers are correct. Here is my advice. Don't let them drive your final decision, because rankings don't capture two very important things: fit and culture. Those factors are far more important than just a set of numbers. I recommend when browsing through the rankings, you should see the big picture. Understand the underlying methodology. Compare a school's ranking to the previous year. Check for consistency. Look at rankings data over time and assess which rankings methodologies best match what you want to get out of business school and which rankings value the same things as you do. So if you decided to go solely by the rankings, then you should decide for yourself which rankings you're basing your decision on. Oh, and please don't choose one school over another school just because it's one spot ahead of your favorite school. It really doesn't make sense to rely on rankings with schools that are so different in location, culture, and philosophy. The MBA experience is different for everyone. It's just very hard for a rank to represent just how good a school is for you. Rankings can never fully reflect the rich complexity of business school's experience, and they are no substitute for what matters the most: finding schools that best fit you. Question of the day: what is the most important MBA ranking to you? Which are the ones that you look at, and how trustworthy do you think rankings are? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for checking out the video. Can you kindly hit the like button if you got value out of it? Definitely hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.